Are we on? Yay!
Are we in?
We're in! Hold on, volume up. There we go. Oh, look at those handsome beards, stashes, and all the colours. Look at that going on.
We've got the Persian rug hanging around as well, you know what I mean?
I know, I missed the memo about the blue Hawaiian shirt.
Exactly. I really shouldn't I? That's a bad drill from my part. I'll take that. I didn't even know if you had a Hawaiian shirt.
Probably not, but I would have joined in somehow.
Love it. Right, Lisa, let's get straight into it. I'm conscious that you are a busy mum, a busy professional, and you've got a lot of shit going on.
I'm still in my workout clothes from this morning.
Exactly, that tells us everything that we need to know.
It's a good job you can't smell me.
That's the good thing about audio, right? That is the good thing. So, for all of our listeners, who is Lisa?
Wow, that is a question. I didn't prepare for that one. Lisa is... okay. Lisa is a mum who has previously struggled with her mental health, had a couple of really bad relationships in her life, had a few medical issues along the way, but I'd say I'm a fighter. So no matter what, I ain't giving up. I'm going to kick ass and I'm going to make what I want happen.
Love it.
If I can
it's
sum it
funny
up.
how you've just said experiences are probably the things that define you.
Yeah, 100%.
Rather than everything else. Like anybody that knows you on social media, the beauty is that I've met you face to face, and you're exactly as you are on social media. And social media means nothing. It really doesn't. It's just a platform in which you can educate and influence and help people achieve their goals. Mm-hmm. Great. But none of that explains who you are. And it's interesting that the description that you've just given are all things that have happened to you or experiences that you've lived with that allow you to define you as a person.
100%. I think all your experiences in life make you the person you are. And I'm a big believer in that, you know, what has happened has led me to where I am today. So without those experiences, I wouldn't be as strong and as courageous as I probably am now. And I'm very much of the mentality now, and like to promote that mentality within my clients, is the how much to give a fuck, basically. You know, work on you, be you know, concentrate on your little bubble, you know, the people that you love and the closest and dearest. Fuck the world, fuck the government. Like, not, I know it's very non-PC, but they don't give a fuck about us. You know, at the end of the day, I think you very much need to look after yourself, look after the others, the people that you love, and just be kind. Promote love, promote kindness, and allow those people who do the same into your life. Everyone else can fuck off.
Yeah, you encapsulate that though as well, right? Like even, I remember when we were at the Fit Expo, you encapsulated all of those things that you just said about community. And it's not like, interestingly enough, somebody will sit on the back end of this audio and they'll probably hear Lisa, somebody who's from Essex, Colchester way, with that London twang, fuck this, fuck that, all that stuff. But trust me when I say, but that is not literally what you are saying. Is the stuff that you live by when we talk about kindness, community,
100%.
And really encouraging other people to just, like you said, not give a fuck, but actually more give a fuck about what's going on internally. Like what? Because I know what you do with a lot of your female clients, because that's a big demographic for you. Mm. Like the mums and perhaps people that have struggled in their own headspace with body confidence. Mm-hmm. You know, and we can talk about your evolution through. And I'm sure we'll go into it, your ectopic pregnancy, periods, all that stuff, postnatal depression, and all the other shit that you've had to deal with has then allowed you, your mother and internal instincts have gone around and go, do you know what? I don't give a fuck what other people think, and I want other people to see that in me. Yeah. But equally, you promote that in other people. It's, without sounding too namby-pamby, because that's not what you're like, it is about self-love and a little bit of compassion towards yourself.
It is, and it's a massive trend at the moment, body confidence, and you know, but I think it can be used and perceived and delivered in, you know, wrong ways. But I'm a big believer in just focusing on the positives, and the fact that social media is now promoting it more than ever, I think is only a good thing. You know, body positivity, the fact that we are revealing real bodies, real people, real lives. You know, it can go as far as people's houses. You know, people expected to live like Mrs. Hinch, when in fact, actually, if you turn the camera the other way, it's a completely different story. And that's the same for real life in terms of motherhood and relationships and, you know, body image and the way we eat and the way we exercise. It's not about perfection, and it's about taking that standard away. People are constantly telling me that they've done really bad today because they didn't do everything perfectly, and that's not real life. You know, real life is doing and bringing effort each day, doing what you can. And my slogan is Fit Mum Real Life. We do what we can, when we can, with what we've got. Simple as that.
Yeah. But that is exactly what you live by, even on social media. Like, we see body positivity, because Scott and I have spoke about this before, and like the image that is portrayed on social media literally is the square root of fuck all that's actually happening. It's a minute percentage of what's going on. However, on yours, what's really interesting, because it's such a powerful platform for you, you show that you still got a body that you absolutely love, and in the same breath, it's not perfect, but it's perfect to you. It's not perfect to the images that are on front cover female fitness influencers or front covers of ladies' health magazines.
What are you trying to say? I thought it was.
But this is what I mean, but you promote that. You promote the fact that, listen, ladies, on Instagram, this is me turned to the side with a great angle, great bit of lighting, a little bit of tan, a little bit of a filter, and it looks fantastic. And then the next slide is, this is real life. This is me sat with both of my beautiful kids, my partner on the couch with an ice cream, and you can see the normality. Like, I remember one of the big posts that you had was one that you did on, I think it was on Cellulite or something like that, where you try to encourage people to see it not as a bad thing, as a part of just who you are as a person.
I personally find stretch marks attractive. That, like, my personal preference. And I mean, there is a lot of people who find out, you know, everybody finds something different attractive. Everyone's got different things that they love about other people and other bodies. You know, everyone is completely different. And how bloody boring would it be if we all looked the same? It would be completely boring. Yet, you know, everyone's trying to look the same. And, you know, I remember when I first started doing lives and pictures and stuff on Instagram, when I didn't mean to, I mean, I never meant to do any of this, but when I started, I used filters, and I used, even on my live workouts, I'd put a filter on, and I look back at them now, and I haven't deleted any of them, because some of the girls love some of the old school workouts that I used to do, but I look at them now and cringe, because I'm like, that's not my face. That is not my face. And doing what I do has also helped myself in terms of my own confidence, like getting on camera, being filmed, and going, do you know what? If someone met me face to face, this is what I look like. So if they're going to see me on social media and then see me in real life, I want someone to go, oh, that's Lisa, or that's this fit mum. I don't want them to go, oh, she looks a bit different. You know, I want them to be able to actually sort of say that's me. And every now and again, I will see a picture of somebody or a post or a story, and I'll see that they're using a filter. And I sort of think to myself, I wonder what that person sort of looks like normally. And I don't judge people, because, you know, fair enough, if people want to use filters, that's down to them, and I'm not here to judge anybody. But I do, I click on the filter and use it on myself as a self-reflection tool to say, you know, that person doesn't look like that. And you can see why, because you use the filter, and, you know, you can see how much it really does change your face. And it's really quite scary, because people are now even going to cosmetic surgeons. Again, no judgment, because I've had some cosmetic surgery myself, but they are going with the, you know, with the idea that they want to look like a specific filter. And I just think that's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, there's a big difference between changing your physical appearance through cosmetic surgery for like confidence and digging out of what's going on up here psychologically, in comparison to going to change something because you've been in an abusive relationship, your partner's telling you fucking ugly, but actually in fact you're beautiful. Do you know what I mean? And it goes back to that, like, you can't walk around in real life with a fucking Paris filter on from Instagram. Like, it's just not going to happen. You've got, Lisa, Paris filter, Oslo filter, smooth skin, texture, complexion, beautiful. And then in real life, somebody goes and meets you and like, oh, well, that's not Lisa because it's not real. And you get that all the time, right? And I remember seeing one on Instagram a few weeks ago about this. And again, I'm not here to judge, but the girl had like almost a beard. She was very, very overweight. But where she had done all of her makeup, it was really interesting because she said, this is me real, this is me changed. And she looked, honestly, like a whole different person. Like, she would not get through customs at passport control because it was two different people. And it was really, really eye-opening to the fact that there are a lot of people that do that, not just women either. There are men out there on social media that will touch up a photo, and when they bare their half-naked bodies on Instagram, they'll go into things like InShot or Photoshop or whatever imagery they're using, and just try and change the shades of darkness that is on there around their abs, or they change the lighting or the brightness.
You can get fake abs. You can get fake abs. You can get fake boobs on pictures, and it's all free. It's completely free to use. Now, when you say about it, like going back to you sort of talking about, front covers of magazines and stuff like that, that's not that person. And also, do you know what? Taking away from image, another thing I say, is everyone's worried about so much about how they look. They forget about who they are. Why don't you worry more about who you are? Because I'll tell you what, I have met lots and lots and lots of very, 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 very good-looking people and aesthetically pleasing. They look absolutely stunning, but my God, you talk to them and you're like, wow.
I knew you were going to say that.
And again, I'm not naming names or any industry in particular. I think it's across the board. I was just talking about Dean Hammond. But
I'm glad you find me aesthetically pleasing. I look like a rugged old chamois that's been left in the bottom of a bucket for a year to dry up, so I'm happy.
But do you know what? It's so true. You've got to have, real attraction when it comes to people, looking and liking and, getting on with someone or falling in love with someone, which is why I'm supposing everyone wants to look nice, is so people look at them and think, oh, yeah, they look nice, But without that mental bit as well, without the personality, and with that comes love and kindness and nurturing and friendship and support and laughter and loads of qualities that people are forgetting about. Stop worrying so much about your skin being smooth. Worry about have you been nice to someone today?
Yeah. Worry about, are you actually a fucking good human being? And it's interesting because when we went out on that expo afterwards, you've just explained half of the population and half of the room that was in there, because nobody had a fucking personality, and people were more worried about getting geared off their face on cocaine and getting pissed off, and not starting a conversation because they felt that they were above the board and they thought that they were better than other people in that room. When interestingly enough, we sat on the table, there was a little group of us, and we were absolutely having a great time. We were talking, communicating, having a great bounce. The banter was high. We were taking the piss out of each other. Everybody there was just, it was a normal standard communication. And for me, that encapsulates like who you are, because you make people feel fucking good about themselves because you're interested in who they are and you don't give a shit what they look like. Because any other man that walked into that room, for example, there were other women around there that were absolutely besotted with that individual because of how he looked, or because of the social media status he had, or because of, the incredible skin complexion he had. However, when you spoke to him, dry as chalk. And there was nothing there at all.
I don't know what you're on about. I never met anyone like that at the expo. But
you haven't met anyone like that.
No, never. But no, it is very much about, people. I can't do that whole fame worshipping either. I'm not very good at that. And I've always been the same. I also do have a normal what you call normal job, and I have kept at my normal job, and people keep saying, when are you going to give up your normal job? But I actually love normality. I love the normality, and I love doing my normal job, and it takes me away from social media and, you know, this whole big persona that is, you know, reality TV on, you know, apps and stuff like that, and social media. I like to pull myself away and keep myself grounded, and I am, what I'd like to think, a little bit educated, so I like to use my brain as well, you know, for a lot of things, which, you know, I'm not saying that fitness and diet isn't using your brain, because bloody God, you don't stop learning when it comes to diet and fitness, but I like to sort of just pull it away. But even when it comes to big, you know, corporations and big limited companies, and, you know, I'll have a banter with the CEO as much as I will the cleaner, you know, and it's the same when it comes to fame. I can't worship people because they've got a following, or I'm not even a massive fan of going to gigs and stuff like that, where I'm sat in a room of hundreds of thousands of people to watch one person on the stage on a telly up there, because you can't see them, because you can watch them at home, you know. I mean, fair enough, don't get me wrong, you know, put me in an event and, you know, watch a sporting game, or, you know, if it was more of a exclusive, smaller arrangement, then yeah, of course it's enjoyable, and going to watch shows and stuff like that. But I really struggle to worship people. I respect people, and I respect talent, and I admire talent. But to me, you know, that has to be, you know, real talent, like singing live, for instance, or performing a sport which requires them to achieve a goal, you know, running, lifting. Yeah, I love strength training. I'm a massive fan of it. Hence why, I mean, in terms of training, I'm one of the personal trainers who believe that it's important to have a personal trainer as a personal trainer, because there's so many things you can learn. You don't stop learning. You know, just because you become a personal trainer and you've studied for it and you've got a qualification for it, doesn't mean there's not more to learn. Strength training is not my forte, and I wanted to improve my bench. I wanted to improve my core bracing skills, and it took me about 9 months to find the right coach, because I am the personality that I am. I have banter. I will tell someone to get lost in a, you know, less polite way when I don't want to do something. I will change their workout plan because I'm a nightmare client and I wouldn't take myself on. And I will openly tell people about my menstrual cycle and my periods, because it's important for people to know. But I knew the best person to train me was going to be a man, because a woman, I don't think there are many women out there who could handle my personality. So I needed a man who I could have a banter with, and this was a man actually that I met at Fit Expo. I coach and train his wife, and we have a massive banter, we have a good crack, we have a good laugh. He's just got Wales' strongest man, he's 5th UK or something like that. He's a monster, he's a machine, and I'm impressed by him. And he's got no Achilles. And he won Wales' strongest man. I mean, that is an impressive individual. That's pretty good. That's someone to watch, isn't it, and be impressed by.
Yeah, that's someone to perhaps respect and worship a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Exactly. And that's not someone that's got hundreds of thousands of followers, you know. And I mean, how many of these bloody followers are real anyway? I get asked about 3 times a week to join engagement groups. You know, there are services and packages out there to enhance your likes, your followers. You know, there is all of this. And at the beginning of it all, I fell victim to all of it. I fell in the trap, you know, of engagement groups, and, you know, and yes, I mean, by all means, people want to grow their following, and I understand that, you know, that adds value to people, but I'm a busy person. I haven't got time to join all these engagement groups, and, you know, again, you've got these services that you can buy, and I think it's becoming more and more blatant which people do and which people don't, for maybe, you know, people like us. But for the normal average individual, they might not be able to spot that. So when you're actually worshipping someone because, oh wow, they've got so many followers, look at them, they're so impressive. Are they really? Are they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, I'm going on a tangent, I always do that.
It's good. No, I love it. So if we go back to the beginning, how did you get into this fitness industry yourself, and how and why and how did you niche down into like women and mums and all that type of stuff?
Okay, the niche was easy. I'm a woman and my mum, so I just went. I'm not going to promote men's health, you know, because it's not my specialty. You know, I'm working on the basis that my specialty is stuff that I know about. You know, it's stuff that I've experienced, and I think it's quite important to have personal experience when you're trying to support somebody else. But the reason I got into it, so I was always a keen runner, but that was mainly because I didn't really know what else to do. So I always ran, and I was always quite small. You know, when I was 18, you know, 19, I remember being in Ibiza in a tiny little bikini and being like, woo, you know, feeling amazing, and I had this body that I never even had to work for, you know, no effort required, no work required. It was, you know, I was 18, 19 and, you know, living life. Fast forward to 25, I had an ectopic pregnancy. So I had an ectopic pregnancy. It was a few months gone. They hadn't spotted it. It was rushed in. It was quite serious. Rushed into hospital. They ended up removing a fallopian tube. And from that, I had a number of different symptoms which they hadn't thought about looking at, perhaps because I actually hadn't gone full term. So there was things like, they later found out I was rhesus negative, which meant I needed an anti-D injection. To the men out there or women who might not know what that means, basically, if you're rhesus negative, you've got a very rare blood group. It means that after you've had a child, you are quite highly likely to reject other children after that period. That's what your body does, and they give you something called an anti-D injection, which allows you to conceive again. This wasn't picked up, so I went through a number of miscarriages and like a bit of a tough time going through miscarriages after miscarriages, not understanding what was going on. And then I had a miracle child who decided to fight against my body and stayed put, who is now known as Molly May. And she was worshipped and spoiled bloody rotten, and we know about it now. Because she was like, oh my God, and I was like, I need a girl, I want a girl. My mum's like, you're gonna get a girl, and I was obsessed, absolutely obsessed with her. Still am, of course. She is a little mini me. So she was my miracle baby. But with all of that, I don't know if that was the trigger point of hypothyroidism, which is low thyroid, but my body then did something or other, and I've got basically from either pregnancy or prior to that, hypothyroidism, which meant afterwards, after I had Molly, I put on a considerable amount of weight during the pregnancy, about 3 stone, and I couldn't get it off. Whatever I was doing, you know, I'd never struggled with my weight before. You know, I'd done the odd, you know, juice diet and followed, you know, fads and stuff like that, because I think, you know, majority of people do sort of go with the trends. But I was never really one that needed to lose a lot of weight. But now I was in a situation where, you know, I was really struggling to lose the weight, but not just perhaps because of food and exercise, but because of the symptoms of the low thyroid, which meant I felt sluggish. I didn't have much energy. I was very, very swollen. You could tell in my face, like I blew up like a balloon. I had water retention. I was sluggish. My digestive system was sluggish. I was hungrier. I craved sweet, sugary things and simple carbs because it's going to give me a quicker hit of energy. And I'm not educated about food and diet and what this should look like. And I just didn't want to stay like that. I didn't want to feel like that. So I researched and I researched and I just spent any free time I had trying to work it out, because I wasn't getting much help medically. I've got a new baby, you know, it's quite normal to feel tired, it's quite normal to put on weight. But I think when your body's telling you something, you need to listen. You know, even if it's just listening and then asking somebody else what you think, because it's a massive, your body's telling you something for a reason. And I did so much research, and I went to the doctors and I was like, right, I've had enough, I want bloods done. Basically insisted that I had medical intervention, shall we say. Had my bloods done, low thyroid. Went on medication. Nothing happened. Okay, I felt a bit better, but nothing happened. People expect to get diagnosed with low thyroid, take a tablet, and it's a weight loss tablet. It's not. It's not. What it does, it relieves the symptoms, it regulates your hormones in order for you to do then the other work that's required in order to get what you want in terms of the goals. It's achievable. It's hard, it's achievable, but it's doable. But a lot of people just expect to take this tablet and it be a magic pill and they're going to lose weight. It doesn't work like that. I mean, it can help you feel more normal to encourage you to move more, and you know, perhaps not snack on so much sugary stuff and things like that, but you've got to put in the groundwork. So I started putting in the groundwork and I started researching diets, and I got lost in this world of marketing and this world of, you know, oh god, Cambridge diet, which is now something else, which is like a 600 calorie diet. I looked at that, looked at juices, looked at cleanses, you know, looked at keto, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And eventually I found something called paleo, which again is another fad diet. However, I started looking at whole foods, proper foods, looking at, I think it's sort of considered more of a caveman style diet. You're looking at, you know, proper meats, proper, you know, whole food, good carbohydrate, grains, good fats. And from there, it snowballed, and I started looking into factual information about diets. I don't do paleo at all, by the way. But it got me on the right path. It got me to...
It's important to acknowledge that, though. It's important to acknowledge that that was the catalyst for you to go in to look at what energy balance was and where you could still get all of the nutrients that you needed to help you fight this hypothyroidism, but also give you back a little bit of ownership of your life.
Yeah, and that's 100%. You've got to own it. You've got to own it. You've got to take that accountability. And something as well I started looking into more was not just macronutrients, but micronutrients. People, you know, I see this, oh, this is what I eat in a day, and I'm like, where's the fucking vegetables? You know, and it's like, you know, it's not just about looking great, it's about feeling great. And without, you know, all the micronutrients, you know, you might lose a bit of weight, but you're going to feel like crap. And I started listening to my mum for the first time in my life, who is very much about alternative medicine and never treats anything or hardly anything with medication. She's a big believer in, you know, alternative medicine and vitamins, and, you know, she can treat anything with a vitamin tablet, I'll tell you. Now, I won't go as far-fetched as to believe everything she says, but she has got a lot of knowledge and understanding about, you know, if you're feeling a certain way, what vitamin you may be lacking, or, you know, I mean, I remember once having cracked lips, and I said, I don't know what's going on though, Mum, because I'm taking my vitamin B. You always told me I've got to take my vitamin B. And she looked at me and she went, I've been taking your iron tablets. And I was like, no, I've run out last week. She's like, there you go. Have a steak. Yeah, so I mean, it's just about looking at the factual side of things. So from there, I started doing fitness classes, nothing specific, you know, just doing like baby friendly classes, doing a lot of HIIT workouts, mainly HIIT workouts, which I still do now because I enjoy them. I enjoy the buzz that you get from them. And then slowly found myself getting more and more interested in the gym and weights, but not feeling confident. So, you know, venturing into that, I started looking into it, and I like to do a lot of background research before I do something, because I don't want to go into something, one, do it wrong for injury, and at that point in time, I didn't want to go in there and look like a dick, you know, which is, a lot of people feel like that. you know?
Yeah.
So I did a lot of research and wherever I could, and I went in and started doing a few bits and pieces. And then I met my now partner, who is in the military and is very much in the gym all the time. I was like, cool, let's go on a gym date. And we started doing a lot of gym work, and he started showing me lots of things which I now correct him and tell him not to do. Yeah, he was the foundations of my weight training expertise. Which it is funny now because he will never ever admit this, but I 100% coach him now with the support of my coach as well.
When the student becomes the teacher, right?
Indeed, he won't admit it. He will never admit it. But no, he's massively into his gym. And I mean, we're that much into our gym that one night we went out for dinner and we said to each other, we should be really now talking about where we go to next. Like, do you want to go for a drink, to the pub, to a club? You know, that's what normal people do. But am I boring to say, do you want to go to the gym? And he looked at me and went, no, I want to go to the gym. Do you want to go to the gym? And I was like, I really want to go to the gym. And he just looked at me and went, well, it's fine if we like the same thing, we can be boring together. But it's that thing, you know, it's and I think that is modern day. A lot of people now, you know, whereas people used to go out and get drunk at the weekends, even the younger crowds now, which I love seeing, are going, do you want to go to the gym? And you'll see like younger generations, which I love, because I'll openly admit at 14 years old I was hanging around the streets, you know, having a bottle of Lambrini in my hand and a packet of Mayfair. But I love seeing the younger generation now, you know, being involved in such a positive thing and being off the streets and getting into gyms. And there's so many gyms that will allow kids in, and it's just it's a nice transition. It really is. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love a bevy, I really do, but I also love going to the gym, and it's about that balance. You know, I think you've got to have, you know, in equal parts. It's got to be healthy in terms of having fun, but also healthy in terms of looking after yourself as well.
I 100% agree.
Going off on a tangent again.
No, it's good. No, it's really good, because I think it's important that people understand like where you come from and how you've been able to get to where you are now, because you did, you know, and please, if we want to navigate past this, we can. You are a domestic abuse survivor. You did come from a place where your own body image was massively distorted, and you yourself have said, you know, you weren't in a great place, but now you've come out the other end just loving who you are. And I think that's what I admire and respect about you, and I'm sure everybody else does. It's like, how do you get to a place where, and I know there's never an absolute with this, because there's lots of things that get thrown into the mix when we talk about body image, positivity, having a peaceful life, moving away from that domestic bullshit, and having a partner that you say is as boring as you, but just somebody that gets you for who you fucking are. Just fancy going to the gym after I've had a big feed. Do you want to go do it? And it's like, yeah, I actually fucking do. Let's go. Like, how does, and this isn't just for women, I don't think, because I do think this is a big thing for men. Men, I'm a big believer, and I know that a lot of people might have a different view on this, is that being obese doesn't automatically doesn't automatically categorize you as unhealthy. Like, being obese is not the only marker to health. Having excess weight, etc., that's not the only marker. There's so many other things. I know people that are obese and are incredibly healthy. They train very healthily. They have a very balanced diet.
Most strong men are considered obese. The BMI is just so outdated.
Exactly, it is. And BMI as an individual marker is 100% like not a great tool. We have to consider everything. But I'm also a big believer in promoting confidence and body confidence, 100%. But there is a fine line between promoting, perhaps, I don't know, maybe this is a different view and opinion, and you can probably attest to this, promoting obesity that is unhealthy, perhaps, and we do have to maybe control what is a pandemic across the globe. At the
You mean like Gemma Collins?
It is, but it is a massive pandemic across the globe. Like, we've got to understand that there does come a point in time scientifically that the weight that you're carrying has a huge component part to how the internal organs are working, the stress that places you under. And if that's not healthy, and we're not talking about health in terms of obesity, we're talking about obesity that's unhealthy and that body image. How do we get somebody to go from a place where you were, where there was all of those markers, the domestic abuse, the physical, mental struggles and all of that, how do we go from there to a place where you're able to now communicate that with so many other people and make them feel fucking good about themselves, but also work towards a better version of themselves?
Yeah, I mean, no, you're completely right in terms of, you know, you can be overweight or obese but be healthy, you know, because like I said, BMI is so outdated and dependent. It was made for white men, the BMI metric. So in terms of, you know, other factors, you know, 100%, you know, you can be healthy and categorised as obese. However, you know, as well, you can be categorised as obese and be obese and be unhealthy. And I think, you know, but you can also be skinny and be unhealthy. You know, you can be categorised as underweight and be unhealthy. And this goes, you know, back to me talking about, not just talking about macronutrients and getting into micronutrients and talking about vitamins and going back to basics. Like when your mum tells you to eat your greens, there's a reason why your mum's telling you to eat your greens. And what I try and do with my programme is I do not give meal plans. I don't tell people what to eat. I don't tell people what to do. I educate them, I give them the information, I give them goals, and then I tell them, right, you go out there, go and put a meal plan together. This is what a healthy plate looks like. You know, we've got inspirational recipes, we've got support groups where people chuck in what they're eating all the time. And you go out there and you show me what your meal plan is. You tell me. You don't need to cut out your favourite foods. You don't need to cut out pizza, burgers, lasagna. You know, you don't have to take them out of the equation. But how can you make a burger into a healthy plate? How can you make a lasagna into a healthy plate? I went to a restaurant when those calories first came out on menus. Beforehand, I wouldn't have even batted an eyelid at ordering a lasagna with garlic bread and a glass of wine from Prezzo's. I worked it out at over 2,500 calories for a lasagna, some garlic bread and a glass of wine. Now, nobody in their right mind needs to eat a meal like that. It's not required, it's not needed. I can make a lasagna at home that tastes banging, yeah, for 500 calories. You know, I can add on a bit of cheeky garlic bread, a couple of hundred, and a glass of wine, like 800 calories for a nutritious meal. It's not necessarily low calorie. I could make it lower calorie if I wanted to, but if I want a tasty banging lasagna, you know, with cheese, garlic bread, yeah, half my plate is still going to be full of salad because I want micronutrients. But you don't need that, you know, it's education. Once you educate people and you give them that control back, all of these diets and fads that people have been going on, and especially in my generation and my client group, you know, including myself, Slimming World goers, Weight Watcher goers, you know, fad diets, Cambridge diets, you know, juicing diets. These are all companies that are taking away our control. And I have this conversation with my sister all the time because she loves Slimming World. She's going on it again, she just told me. And I was like, there is the key word, again. If it worked, you wouldn't be going on it again because you would just do it forever. But it's unsustainable. You cannot do Slimming World forever because you can't. There's, oh yeah, but we don't have to count calories. No, but you've got to count sins and healthy extras and work out, you know, you can have a banana, but you can't mash it because then it becomes 3 sins. It's ridiculous. They've taken the control away from these people. These people are vulnerable people who are likely to be suffering with mental health issues. You know, if they're going to Slimming World, they want to lose weight for a reason. They've put on weight for a reason. You know, a lot of those people are going to be people with mental health issues, and they are taking vulnerable people, selling them a load of crap, giving them results and making them feel great. And then they're like, okay, I'm going now. I'm not going to pay you any more money. Oh, hold on. You know, oh, I put on all the weight back. I've got to go back because they made me feel good. You know, but I can't maintain. It's a money-making business model that prides on vulnerable people. And, you know, I could sell something similar and make more money, you know, because ultimately that's what they do. They're business machines. They make money. My programs,
though, right?
100%. My program, at the end of the program at 6 weeks, I say to people, right, I've given you all of the tools that you now need to go off and do it by yourself. If you would like continued support, I'm here forever. Whether that just be with your diet, whether you want to, because majority of my clients, I'd say about 5% of my clients want to, you know, sculpt their body, let's say.
Yeah.
95% of my clients just want to be able to eat a good meal at the weekend, have a chocolate bar, have a glass of wine, but still get in a bikini on the beach and feel great about themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is life. That's living life. I think, you know, I love the gym. I like to, you know, sculpt my body in a particular way. I enjoy it. However, you know, for some people that might not be something they aspire to. It might not be something they enjoy. So why the hell are you going to make your client do something that they hate? Because again, it's not going to be maintainable. They're not going to be able to sustain that after they've finished your program. So those 6 weeks, right, I've given you the fundamentals. You've now got the foundations of what you need to continue forever. Continue for as long as you want, you know, as long as you need to. And, you know, from there, like I try to educate people that once you've got to a place that you're happy with, you can learn to intuitively eat. You've got to be very careful about it, you know, and I try to explain to people about intuitive eating because I have calorie counted for so many years. I know how much is in how much of a volume of something or other, you know, and I can put a plate together and go, that's roughly that. It doesn't matter if it's 50 calories out because I'm not, you know, specifically working to any specific goals. Yes, if I've got a photo shoot coming up, we do body confidence photo shoots. Yeah, of course I'm going to look my best. So I'm going to knock off a couple of kilos and, you know, I will calorie count because that is how you do it in order to make sure that you're in a calorie deficit and you're, you know, losing, you know, the fat that you want to. But other than that, I am not aspiring to be a bikini model. I'm not aspiring to, you know, be a strong woman or, you know, anyone who, you know, needs to, or a boxer, you know, anyone who needs to be a specific way, you know, or a specific look. That's not my aspiration. So I will intuitively eat and I will try and help people to learn that eventually you can do that. It's not going to happen overnight and you do need to have a good control over it, but you can have freedom. You can have freedom from the diet industry. You can have freedom from fads, diets, and you can just live life and eat smart, you know, just remember what your mind.
It's also a big thing that I hate at the moment is objectifying and healthifying everything that we do. Like, why do we have to healthify every meal that we eat? Not every meal has to be this, and it generally comes from, it does come from a diet culture. It really does come from a diet culture, and something that I've worked fucking tirelessly doing, and Scott's the same, is dispelling this myth that like everything that we have to do, like you said, has to be perfect, or like you said, has to be objectified and healthified. You don't have to have a meal that is low calories. If you want to have a burger, it's about the educational piece of, well, what does that burger represent in terms of energy balance? Like, how many calories are in that? If composition is our goal, how many calories are in that? How nutritious is it? Sometimes you don't even need to worry about that. Like, you can have the burger.
Everything.
But if the goal is composition, just understand where the balance comes from for the rest of the week.
Everything is healthy, in balance. Chocolate is healthy, in balance. Sugar is healthy, in balance. I cannot remember the last day I went without chocolate, and I will never, ever give up chocolate. It's not happening. It's not happening. Yeah. I get hangry. The amount of people, the amount of coaches that have come to me and go, oh God, you'd be a great bikini model. Like, I'll coach you. I'll do it for free. And I'm like, I am not giving up food. I get really hangry, and because of my menstrual issues, which I've got, you know, because of my thyroid and because of my ectopic pregnancy and stuff like that, I have completely erratic periods. I'm completely irregular. we know when Lisa's coming on her period because I'll eat the house out. I'll snap everybody's head off, and then I'll be fine again.
Yeah.
You know, I am not giving up food I just to stand on a stage and feel lean, you know, because I think for me, I respect the amount of work that goes into it, and I take my hat off to people who do it. I do think there is a massive issue in the industry with, how do I put this correctly?
I know what you're going to say.
I think there's a lot of eating disorders that are there are amazing coaches out there who support it and look after their clients properly, but I don't think there is that focus enough on that, and I've seen it firsthand a lot. And I think, you know, where there was the trends like in the 90s where we all had to be stick thin, I think we've got a new trend that is a similar trend, but we have to be, you know, thin and muscly.
It has to be, again, it comes back to healthifying everything that we do. Like, if it's not keeping me lean, it's not keeping me toned. Remember, like, a lot of people will automatically go to forgetting that the causality of these body compositional problems normally come from behaviour. They come from behaviour associated with foods, and it's amplified even more in the fitness community and those that compete within the bodybuilding realm, within, to be fair, any real physical fitness competition feat that has a requirement to diet, there is absolutely eating disorder. And people will look at somebody, again, on the front of a cover, see a beautiful image of a person, somebody who is lean, is muscular, and just seems to have everything worked out. But deep down and below the surface, you very, very quickly realise that that individual has a real problem switching off from objectifying and healthifying every meal that they consume. So much so that I fell into that trap. I fell into the trap of 2013, 2014, and my mental health was at an all-time fucking rock bottom because I was taking fucking broccoli, dried chicken and rice with some herb and organic seasoning on it to a restaurant with my wife and kids, sitting in McDonald's with my children, my eldest kid at the age of fucking 1-2 years old, after not seeing her for like the first 2 years of her life because I was away all the time, eating bloody dried chicken, rice and broccoli, because I objectified and healthified everything and just didn't understand. I understood calories, but just didn't understand, like, what was I doing? I lived off of a plan that was written by a bodybuilder that meant the square root of fuck all in comparison to things that I wanted to achieve. I just wanted to look relatively decent, and every time I looked in the mirror, I was in great shape. I've even got photos, and I might post one so people see what I used to look like. And like 87, 80 kilos, lean, looked amazing, felt shit.
I bet though when you looked like that, I bet you still weren't happy though. I bet you weren't.
I was miserable, mate. I looked in the mirror and I genuinely just wanted to be. I was like, how could I get more shredded? How could I be better? My wife's looking at me going, "You're a fucking absolute arsehole. You're stressed out to the nines. Our relationship's shit. Our intimacy's fucking shot to shit. I didn't want to be around the house. I always wanted to be in the gym. Everything I was doing was healthified, and if it didn't contribute to that, what type of fucking way of living is that? Like, really, that was me going to try and compete as a physique bodybuilder in board shorts, because that was the narrative that I was associated with. Going to Body Power Expo in 2014 and being around all of those people, fake a tan, lean, shredded, talking in that language. A lot of people won't know, but on the face of it, I was the most miserable I've ever been in my life. Genuinely the most miserable. Chasing a composition that was great for a photo shoot, but it wasn't great for life. I had no freedom. I couldn't go to like the Harvester or, I don't know, Hungry Horse with the family and have like a family dinner on a Sunday or something like that. Just a little get together. Because I was so scared about putting on weight. Like, what the fuck is that mentality? And it's because the industry back then healthified everything that we did. And it's the Jeff Seed culture. We go back to that, like Gymshark, and I'm not Gymshark, that's not what I'm saying here, but that athlete culture, and the people from Optimum Nutrition, USA and Grenade, and these big Body Power Expos, these guys were promoting that narrative. That you had to be fucking miserable in order to achieve this composition. It blew my mind. And
Life's too fucking short. Life's too fucking short. Have a bit of fat and put some fake abs on you. But going back to you with
I'm
kids,
so happy.
going back to you with kids as well, like, you know, when you're sitting in McDonald's and, you know, taking your chicken and your rice, and, you know, not only are we are our children's biggest role model. What they see us do is normal to them. That's what's normal life. So if you are eating crap every day, not eating vegetables, not working out, not exercising, your children see that as normal, and it's quite often that they follow along the same lines. Now, if you see if your children see you never at home, always in the gym, eating chicken, rice and broccoli, being miserable, being angry, you know, not being intimate with their mum or dad or whoever it will be, you know, they see that as normal. That's how they learn what it is to be mum or dad. So when your children are growing up, you know, people say to me, I did a little podcast about mum guilt. Oh, I have to wait till the children are in bed to work out because, you know, I've got to be with the children keep climbing on me and stuff. No. Let your kids join in. Let your kids watch you. Let your kids see that mummy deserves to have an hour, half an hour, to go, mummy's doing a workout, guys, because mummy wants to stay healthy. You know, mummy wants to keep in shape. You can join me if you want to. Sometimes kids kick off. Kids are going to kick off whether you do the workout or not do the workout. And it is insane if you think that you're going to constantly, 100% of the time, keep your child happy, content, and not kicking off. Because kids kick off. We all know it. They do it, no matter what. So instead of, you know, seeing them as a ticking time bomb, just do what you want to do and let them tick and time off whenever they are. And my kids are so used to me working out now. Like Molly, not so much, because she's like looking at me like, whatever, mum. You know, I'm not interested. I'm 8. I've got my own agenda on Roblox. You know, and but Paddy actually joins in the workouts now. He's got his own logbook. He does lat pull downs. We've got the cable machine at home. He does pull-ups. He does dumbbell chest presses. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. He really enjoys it. He's learning how to do it properly and doing it controlled. And of course, I'm not chucking him under a bloody 50 kilogram, you know, bar, or, you know, I'm not getting him under an Olympic bar, for fuck's sake. I'm working with him with a couple of little 1.25 weights. But a lot of children who suffer with things like ADHD, autism, I've spoken to a lot of mums whereby they have actually been provided advice, treatment for their children to use weights. It's a stress reliever. You know, you're using your muscles, you're releasing dopamine, you're learning how to control the weight, you're using, you know, mental and physical, you know, you're involving that completely. And, you know, I'm not saying it's the key to get all the, you know, 5-year-olds in a bloody gym, but I'm just saying if they're interested, let them be interested, let them join in. Don't dismiss them from it. Don't avoid like doing things with them. Do it with them. And, you know, things like going for walks. Oh, I struggle doing walks. It's the school holidays. Go for a walk with the kids. The kids love it. You know, we go on adventures, right? Molly, you choose which way we go now. Oh, but she got to choose the last one and I want to choose them. You know, and we end up going to random places and seeing random fields and going up random, you know, hills that they moan about climbing, because they're still going to moan whether or not we're at home or out, or because that's what kids do. But also at the same time, they enjoy certain aspects. They see new things. They learn. They're off their smartphones or iPads for a minute, you know. But you know, they're learning what it is to be healthy. And then I turn around at the end of it all and go, who wants dinner? Who wants, you know, I'm trying to think of we arrange, we eat healthy food, but we also eat some crap food.
Yeah, but it's okay to say who wants ice cream.
Yeah, I was going to say who
and a bit of bribery at the end of it as well. Like when we get home, we'll make some dinner, and because you've done well climbing up a hill, it's okay to say, we can have some ice cream. It's not on a wall. You're not treating yourself. It's not treats for food, because that's a shit narrative. But it's part of being a parent, right?
And it's part of being a kid.
Scott and I both are about, like, we bring our kids, and it's my favourite time when the kids are in the garage training with me. Like, it's one of the best things I've ever done, watching it and seeing it and feeling it. And one thing I wanted to ask Liz, because I think, like, both of you, and, you know, I've been through this in a different aspect, but Scott, me and Scott have known each other for 25 plus years now, went to school together. You would not believe, and Scott, your story here, what it was like for you going through that body confidence change and shape-shifting how you felt around food, so that the kids that you got see you living this life of balance, right? Because you went through the same process.
I mean, I went from 20 plus stone all the way down to, I think I got down to 14 stone in the end. So I went from like really heavy to super light, and I wasn't happy at either end. I was miserable, really, really miserable, and I was eating. I think back in the day, it was like you could only have 50 grams of carbs each day. You had to run twice a day and do a training session and do all this kind of shit. And I think when I look back, especially when I was my thinnest, I look back and I look jacked, but I never naturally saw myself like that. I never saw myself as jacked. I always saw the bigger guy in the mirror, and that's something I struggled with for a long, long time, until maybe like a few years ago. It's just, you know, like Lisa said, you just got to be happy with you and worry about who you are and how I'm giving to my family.
It's the same with Paul. My Paul, he's exactly the same as you, Scott. He's he likes to say that he was bigger when he was younger. He got into MMA, but he still holds on to a lot of that body confidence issues now, to the fact that we went to Ibiza Rocks a few years ago and he wouldn't take his top off, and I was going ballistic at him because I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. You've probably got the best body here in Ibiza Rocks. You've got every single guy who's got their top off. The only one who looks like a knob here is you, because you're wearing a top, and everyone else is naked with bellies and everything hanging out. And I've worked with Paul over the last 4 years a lot to bring on his confidence, but still there is still that underlying body confidence there where it's not required. He's got a banging body, absolutely banging body, but he will never ever see that.
A lot of that will come from, and it sounds stupid, but it does come from a military culture. A lot of it will come from a military culture. There is still a culture in the military that being obese means you're fake. Being obese means that you're ugly. Being obese means that you can't keep up physically. When in actual fact, like, we've got to stop defining our physical attributes of the person we are. And I go back to that very, very first question that we asked at the start of this podcast. Who the fuck is Lisa? And Lisa is somebody based on her experiences. She's not based on and you know, be complete. You are not scared about showing your body on social media. You are not scared about showing.
I'd show more of it if I could, but I get banned.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, you truthfully show up every single day. You show up in bikinis and all. You show the raw images. You show you being a mum. You show you with Paul. You show you at the gym. You show everything. And that comes back to the thing is, that's not the things you do and the experiences you have are the things that define you. It's not the objectification. It's not the blonde hair. It's not you, Lisa, in X bikini, or you, Lisa, with X look. It's you are Lisa because of all of these things, the things that you've been through. And if more people had that perception, or more people in themselves, fuck me, the industry would be in such a different place. It's such a mess right now. The fitness industry, as much as I love it, it's such a mess because of those things, because people truly, their confidence in how they look, I think it's getting a little bit better in terms of, like, we're trying to look for performance metrics now, or things that define health, but there's still a huge
I think you've got to take
on composition.
I think you have got to take on, and this is what again comes down to education of other people and clients. I think we do all have some responsibility to ourselves to monitor what we watch and who we follow, because
Yeah.
I do not struggle with the fitness industry. I enjoy the fitness industry. I enjoy social media and what I see on it because I choose who I follow. And I am not held to ideologies, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So I choose who I follow. Yes, I've again made myself accountable and responsible for educating myself on diet and fitness and nutrition. But I follow certain people. I follow, I don't really follow that many really, really, really famous people. I'm going to have to double check it. But I don't. Like, I think yesterday, for the first time, I followed Lady Gaga because she was sending out a lot of positive... I've started doing shorts on YouTube because there's a lot more reach. Instagram's a bit crap at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I've been doing a bit on YouTube at the moment, and I've come across a lot of Lady Gaga stuff, and I love anyone who promotes positivity, whatever that means. And I think they were asking her, they were saying, so, why do you never answer the question about if you've got a penis or not? And she's like, well, why should I? Who cares if I've got a penis or not? My fans don't care, I don't care what you think of me if I've got a penis. If you want to think I've got a penis, I've got a penis. And that shouted so many things to me, because the only person whose opinion matters is your own and the people that love you. Anybody else, what's it matter? Who cares? What does it matter if Lady Gaga's got a penis? And I know it's a really random example, but it just spoke volumes to me, and I was just like, I love that. Absolutely love that.
It summarises it nicely, doesn't it? It really does.
Yeah.
So, one question that we ask all of our guests when they come on is, and I want this to be in your experience, okay? So, and your walk of life. In your walk of life, what 3 things kind of allow you to show up and be the best version of yourself every single day? And they can be habits, they can be things that you do for yourself, they can be your non-negotiables, but 3
can pre-workout be one of
somebody... Potentially, but 3 things that people on the other end might actually sit back and go, do you know what, maybe I can take something away from this and apply it to my own life.
Okay, so one is set an example to my children. I want to be the best example as I can to my children, and that's not always being the mum that they want me to be. That's not always being the mum that gives into everything and lets them do whatever they want and eat whatever they want. It's being the mum. Maybe I want to love my children, but I want to be the person that I needed when I grew up. Does that make sense? I want to provide a little bit of that support, discipline and guidance, which I think first and foremost I'm a mum and then I'm a friend, and I want that to be delivered to my children. Insanely, I can't even put into words how much I love my children, but I also want them to grow up to be good, kind, loving human beings, and sometimes that means, being a mum that I think is right, not being the mum that I think it should be, I should be. But with that comes health, comes diet, comes fitness, along with everything else. So in terms of, diet, fitness and health, it's about showing up and setting a good example to them. I'm not going to tell them to eat their veg and not eat my veg. I'm not going to tell them that they need to go to clubs and do sport if I'm not doing it. So I'd say 1 is setting an example. 2 is proving to myself, like I'm a fighter. I've come through a lot, and I don't ever talk about it too much because I think a lot of people feel the same if they've ever been in the situation. You don't feel like you're worthy enough of the label of domestic violence, and I went through a lot of crap, and I won't deny the fact that I did, but I don't talk about it too much because yes, it has shaped who I am, but I've moved on from all of that. I don't like to spend too much time talking about it or focusing on it. I can't be bothered. I'm done with that. I've wasted enough time concentrating on that. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I don't even want to, whatever, it's gone. That's done. Yeah. My focus is here. So it's about, proving to myself, it's the strength, giving myself that discipline. So discipline maybe is the word, to say that no, I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I put my mind to. And 3 is probably about how I started this Fit Mum was helping other people. I started by doing charity. I know it sounds ridiculous. I made Paul dress up as Batman, and we went around waving to kids and stuff like that during the pandemic. So I love helping other people. I like to see other people achieve, and I like to, as much as I'll say fuck off to anyone who isn't giving me that back, anyone that wants to invest in me, I'll invest in them. Do you know what I mean? And I'll give them whatever I can to give them that empowerment. So helping other people, and seeing people progress, and seeing people, whether it's mentally, physically, whatever that be. So my contribution to maybe society. So I've worked it out after all of that. Contribution to society, discipline, and what was the first one?
Setting an example.
Setting an example. There we go.
Love it.
So yeah, and I think. Yeah.
Love that. No, they are, honestly, you don't have to explain any more about those tricks. I think people,
I'm good at explaining.
But people can genuinely pull things away from that, and that's kind of that's really why we created the Art of Performance podcast, to do what you're doing, just reach as many people as possible and create a substantial change that puts people in. Do you know what? One of the biggest phrases that we have from one of our guests, and Scott, and I love this, is just being 1% less shit every day. Just how can I be less shit than I was yesterday? How can I be a better version of who I am? Whether it's in my physical health, my psychological health, my well-being, my relationships, whatever that looks like, what can I do just to be a little bit less shit? And those little 3 things that you've taken away there will give a lot of people a lot of value. And for me personally, and I'm sure Scott will attest to this, it's fucking refreshing, like genuinely refreshing, to sit at the end of a call with you and listen to that like empowerment side of life that you give off, because it's no different. And I've had the beauty of drinking with you, dining with you at the expo, having banter. Do you know what I mean? And I've had the pleasure of doing that, and it's good because that's the real you, and the real you is still the same in any other walk of life. And I think that that's really important for people to take away.
But for yourself as well, not just for other people. Be yourself for you. And there's a few things I always say. It's like, when you walk into a room, don't worry about who's going to like you. Worry about who you're going to like. Don't worry about, what other people think about you. Who cares? Worry about the opinion of yourself. If you're happy with you, then you'll attract the right people. And ultimately as well, whenever I make a decision in life, I always think you only live once. We are one person on a big wide world with billions of people. Everyone has got opportunity. Everyone's got it. Why are you going to hold yourself back? Why are you going to, not do something that you want to do, or try and achieve something you want to achieve? Because ultimately, once you're gone, you're gone. That's it. You've got, 80 years? Make it count. Make it count. What are you doing today to make it count? Why are people holding on? Why are people waiting? We haven't got time. Time is precious. Make it happen.
It is indeed. So, Lisa, where can our listeners find out more information about you? Or maybe want to work with you? Like, where can they reach out and connect, or best places?
Websites, www.thisfitmum.com. Find me on Google, find me on Instagram, find me on TikTok, find me on YouTube. I've tried Twitter, but it sucks. It really sucks.
It's so political shit.
Oh, it sucks. It really does.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of like getting in touch with me directly, drop me a message through the website, and yeah, more than happy to speak to everyone and anyone. And time's my thing. Find me at a good time, and of course I always make time and schedule it for people who are, want to talk to me about, joining the program or generous support. But yeah, website.
This Fit Mum, that's the one.
That's the one.
So, Lisa, from Scott and I, thank you so much for taking the time to come and speak to us today. We genuinely appreciate it, and we're really looking forward to airing this on. I think a lot of the female and hopefully the male culture as well our listeners will get a lot out of this, and they'll see that just everything that rings out from you is just about empowerment and self-love, and it's really good to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing this out. So thank you very much for taking the time.
I am going to have to do my own video on periods though, because you didn't let me talk much about blood.
So we need to get you back on to talk about erratic periods and menstrual cycles.
It's important.
So all that does is it just means we get you for another episode. So if you agree to it, we're going to bring you back on.
Poor you.
Yeah. No, we're good for it. We're right. It's all good. It's all good. So men, stand by. You're going to have to learn about the follicular and luteal phase of a menstrual cycle, and you're going to have to learn about periods and everything in between. So it'll be a good episode, I'm sure. Right. But thank you very much, Lisa. Really
thank you for having me. Have an amazing day.
People just go off on tangents, because that's where the value actually comes from. Honestly, mate, we've had some great podcasts, and I don't think we've had any bad ones, but we have had ones where it's like just tumbleweed going across the thing. And that's why when I said to Scott, like, Lisa, we've got to get Lisa on, because she'll just fucking say it as it is. And the thing is, we don't cut anything out. Like, it stays as it's recorded. We don't edit it. It gets a little bit of a screen grab here and there, but we just want to fucking share information with people. And you believe it or not, we've had guests booked in that have got hundreds of thousands of followers, and they haven't shown up to an appointment. And we've sat here like this, like, it's fucking, honestly, on Fridays we've just been sat there like, fuck's sake, some big names in the industry, like massive names in the industry, and it goes back to the point you made. They might fucking look great, but they're an absolute wanker or arsehole of a character. Because that to me is poor. That's really fucking
It's rude. It's people's time. Time. It's valuable.
Rude. It's rude, mate. It really is rude. But yeah.
It's like when people make you click links to book appointments. Do you know them people? Fucking arseholes.
Hey, we've got to fucking do it somehow. Otherwise, it takes more effort.
Just give me a time.
Right, Lisa, be here at this time. Here's the meeting ID. Jobs are good. She's simple. It's good. We like that line.
Yeah, I don't even know. I've got calendars coming out my fucking ears. Do I look at any one of them? No.
I just got a message like, is there a fucking ID link for this? Where is it? I'm like, it's this one. Yeah, bump in.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, look, we'll let you crack on. Thank you very much again, and hopefully we get to catch up soon.
Yes, I better go save Paul from the kids.
Yeah, do it. Have fun. See you in a bit.
See you later. Nice to meet you, Scott.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.